We're reporting from one of the most iconic locations in Sri Lanka. Now, this is called the Galle Face. This is in Colombo, the capital city of the country. What you see right behind me are the Colombo Business Towers, which is the World Trade Center, of course, houses the Colombo Stock Exchange. You have the Presidential Secretariat, which is also right behind me, is the Old Parliament. Now, this particular site where we are standing and reporting from is called the demonstration site. Now, this is the place where citizens of Sri Lanka would come here, gather and protest. It's not just about the economic crisis, it's not just about the constitutional crisis that's been happening now, but since the beginning for the last few years, this has been the choice of site, which is the demonstration site for the people to protest for various reasons. Now, this place, the demonstration site which is called, has now been named as the Gota Go Gama. Now, this is a village, a recognized village at this point in time. And this village, why they call it as Gota Go Gama, is those people, that is the citizens of Sri Lanka, have started to camp here for more than a month. That is, they have set up tents, temporary tents. And what we witness here in this Gota Go Gama, which is a village, which they call it as they want Gotabaya Rajapaksa to resign and go home. So according to them, what they say is that one of the main important motto of the people who are camping in this particular demonstration site or the Gota Go Gama village is especially asking Gotabaya Rajapaksa to go home, and only once he goes, the people will choose to leave this particular demonstration site. Now, we're going to take you across this particular demonstration site, the Gota Go Gama, the village that we're reporting from. The various tents that have come up, by creative people, the Sri Lankans especially, to do with, whether there is a theatre, there is, every day that's a drama that's played out, there are plays. And apart from that, there are temporary medical aid centers as well. We are talking about 2 medical aid centers. Now, those medical aid centers that we are reporting from right now, these centers have been set up especially for those protesters, in case they need any medical aid. Even very recently, what we did, of course, see was especially several of them were injured in the clash between the anti-government and also pro-government protesters. This is the site that we're reporting from. This is where they were injured, where the clash happened. Now, what you see right behind me are especially the services that's been given by the people here to those protesters who are protesting. So these are unharmed protesters. Now, they are also protesters. They also take part in the protest. So these are medical camps that have been set up for those people who come onto this particular demonstration site, which is Gota Go Gama, and protest. Now, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, to also give you a fair idea what's really on the opposite side of this demonstration site, which is the Gota Go Gama, is the Galle Face Green. Now, this is a promenade, oceanside park. Now, that particular place has also been reclaimed by these protesters. Several of them have already set up tents, and people have put up especially boards as well, placards that read, we don't want a corrupt government, we want a free a government free of corruption, and hence they want Gotabaya Rajapaksa to go home. Now, this has been the bone of contention, because what we have of course seen is that this particular iconic location, which also houses the Indian High Commission, houses one of the most the colonial structures, especially the 19th century Galle Face Hotel and various other iconic locations as well. From this particular point, we see that the people especially have taken over this particular place, which is the Gota Go Gama, naming it as the Gota Go Gama, so that they will they say that they will continue the protest no matter what happens. All that they stand by even today is they want Gotabaya Rajapaksa to go home. So we will also be taking you inside to a few places, especially most importantly the library. Now, what you see behind me is the library. Now, just like how they call it, they say the library, that is books. Books are the greatest, weapon of revolution, which they call it. there are plenty of books that have been donated in this particular library. This particular place especially has been donated to those protesters who camp over here, who protest, who've been, shouting slogans for weathering the storms, or in terms of whether it's, the day it's a scorching heat or even rains right now as we speak. So these people have been camping in libraries, in various tents, and several of the protesters, of course, come here. They read book during their free time and then go out there probably by the evening and then protest. They continue with their protest. If I go across to a volunteer here from the library who says this was one of the places which they ensured is not destroyed by the pro-government protesters. You remember those are the protesters who came in support of Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Mahinda Rajapaksa. They came and attacked these unharmed protesters. So they ensured that they could protect this particular library. Can you also explain to us what happened on that particular day? How did you manage to ensure that the books are not destroyed?
Some day, that Monday, last Monday,
Yes.
I thought time is 11 or 12.
Yes.
Some police forces goes this road,
Okay.
police buses, trucks there.
Okay.
So we'll feel what something happened there.
Okay.
And one protesters come there from, we want our prime ministers and presidents there. We say to you didn't want there, no? We say Gota Go home.
Yes.
So they come and they have some weapons like that, balls or like that. They attack these peaceful people.
Yes.
That's some all events there. Some art gallery there. They attack the art gallery and another petition signing
Yes.
place there. They attack that also.
Okay.
And they attack some other these huts there, like night stay, that huts like the tents.
Yes.
And they attack that medical.
The medical care center.
Yeah, that's medical care center. That is the St. John, and that is the local medical center. That's called Ayurvedic center.
How did you manage to ensure that the books are not destroyed?
They are come to attack here,
Okay.
but we here and
You all
we
formed a team.
that protect, and we'll transfer that books from Red Cross. That is the international places, no. So we believe they did not attack there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you took the protection of the Red Cross.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And
Only
where?
books, we don't go there. Only books
I
placed there.
understand. So
Yeah.
you actually moved the books.
We
from
want to
this
protect the
particular-
books.
Yes. So you all moved the books from here to the
Yeah.
Red Cross.
Yeah.
Ensuring that they wouldn't really attack the Red Cross. Okay.
Yeah.
Where are these books from?
These all books are donated from people.
All those who are protesting here.
Come to all protesters and authors, they are artists,
Yes.
professors,
Yes.
teachers, all kind of
All
profession.
kind of intellectuals.
Yeah, donates all kind of books.
Okay. What happens when this is all over? What happens to this library?
It's happened. This is the people's library. People donate the book and they can take the book, go to home and read. We tell you read, you give your nearest library. Don't give again here.
Okay, so that means once this is all over, it will be donated to the nearest libraries or like school libraries, right?
School libraries.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us here. So this is one of the, the places which they ensured is not attacked. In fact, he also does tell us that the first step, what they did was to just move the books to the Red Cross, ensuring that, they won't be attacking the Red Cross. Now, that's what they really assumed, and exactly just like their assumption, we understand that the protesters, that is the pro-government protesters, did not really enter the Red Cross and attack or damage the properties there. So this is just not about the library here, but also there is an art gallery, just like how he pointed out, and there is also a recycling unit. Now, coming to the interiors of Gota Go Gama, now what you see right behind me is yes, of course, you can see this almost like how it's turned into a carnival like sorts, but these are the tents. Now, this has been converted as a tent city almost, and this is exactly the place where, the people, after protesting, they come and, they take rest. Now, this has been there for almost 1.5 months or so, and the people that we are talking to, they say this would continue for more days to come, because Gotabaya Rajapaksa has right now sent out a very strong message saying that he will be appointing a cabinet, and he will be also announcing the prime minister for the country, an indication that he will not step down. There's a kitchen that's more important. Now, this is one kitchen that basically cooks and supplies food for especially those protesters who, are staying at Gota Go Gama, which means there are a little over 40 tents from theaters to, Ayurvedic centers, medical assistance centers. Then you have a library, you have a petition center where especially, the mysterious disappearances during the Gotabaya Rajapaksa regime, so that people can put in some, petitions especially. And this is something where we understand they are preparing chai, the Sri Lankan chai, for those protesters who are taking part. They can come and have a chai, and then we go towards this particular tent where sometimes the brainstorming sessions happen. Basically, they try and discuss and strategize what really happens the next day for the next day. And then right next to that, what you see is a kitchen. Now, this is the kitchen place where basically they cook food, they distribute food, not just amongst the protesters or those who are living right here in Gota Go Gama, but also to those people who have traveled, over hundreds of kilometers, because of the deep economic crisis. It has forced several of them out here on the streets. In fact, if I could go across to Nuzly, basically, can you tell us what really happens here? Because we did, of course, go to the theater and, in terms of the kitchen.
So what they do is like, we usually get essentials, right? Like dal, rice and stuff. So what they do is like they cook and distribute. It's like we get bread also. Sometimes we get bread, spreads and stuff. So what they do is like spread it and give it to people. So people who do the protest, and when also people who come to the protest in regular basis. So they do both of those things.
Okay, so what is the crowd like? I believe it's not just the protesters who are staying in Gota Go Gama, but there are several of them traveling from different parts of the island nation.
Yeah.
So do you have a number, an approximate to say, this is what it is?
So it depends. Usually on a weekday, on daytime it's like lesser because it's office hours and stuff. But in nighttime it's little higher. So it's not only here, it's the kitchen here, but there are several other tents, as you might have interviewed. They also give food as well. So I might say at least like an average of 2,000 to 2,500 people come at a one time, at night time. So even at daytime, at least 1,000 to 1,500 people would be there.
Okay. And if you could take across to this particular place, is this where especially those protesters, do they call it a day, or are they still up? What is it like?
So we don't call it a day, but some people take shifts basis.
Yeah.
So some people sleep in the daytime, some people sleep in the night time. But the main protest goes on and on, 24/7. It's been 36 days since for today. So, but we never stopped protesting against this government.
Okay. And the sleeping tents, how many of the sleeping tents are
I
here?
think we've been registering sleeping tents. There are around 60 to 70 sleeping tents out here.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Nuzly, for joining us. But one final question I want to know. How long will this go on?
As much as as far as the Gotabaya Rajapaksa resigns. If he resigns tomorrow, we can go home. If he resigns in another 100 days, we'll have to be here another 100 days.
Okay, well, thank you, Nuzly, for that. In fact, telling us that, these are the tents, especially for those people. Remember, they take, shift. Shift is something that we actually see several of them trying to take turns, while some of them will, they continue protesting right outside on the streets. Like Nuzly did point out, there's clearly no day or night. And in fact, we ourselves have seen right here reporting from Colombo that even after past, whether it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m., people are protesting 24 hours round the clock, and it's been over 1.5 months. And just like Nuzly pointed out, that they will go on with this protest. This Gota Go Gama will be alive until Gotabaya Rajapaksa resigns. In Colombo, with camera person Govind Murthy, Sreeja for NDTV.